What has your pet accidentally conditioned you to do?
Don't forget to support our shitty channel, please.
My wife just got out of the cat's chair on our front porch after he strolled up and meowed. Crazy thing is, it's not our cat. My mother's dog tells her when it's time for her evening meal. As in my mother's evening meal. The dog knows she eats after my mother, so when she starts to get peckish she goes and bugs her to start cooking. When I go back to visit, we'll be sitting chatting and the dog will sidle in and become a presence in the room for maybe 30 seconds until my mother casually looks at her watch and says, "I suppose we better think about eating." She's completely unaware of what triggers her decision. A presence in the room, I love it, haha. I know exactly what you mean, too. Dogs have a way of sort of just conspicuously hanging around to get some attention. Loitering, if you will. This wasn't accidental. I have a kitten, about 5 months old. Every morning, I wake up and feeding him is one of the first things I do. In the first couple months, in his little brain, he learned that me waking up equals food. About a month ago, he started waking me up, looking to expedite the process. Jumping on me, meowing loudly, running across the bed. Whatever gets me out of bed. I usually wake up around 6 a.m. for work. I guess that was too late for breakfast, as over the course of about a week this kitten would wake me up about 15-20 minutes earlier every day. This started on a Sunday and it wasn't until Friday that I was woken up and realized it was 4:30 a.m. It was then that I realized I've been outsmarted by a kitten and I was being conditioned to feed him in the middle of the night. Now if he wakes me up early, he gets locked out of the room until I'm ready to get out of bed. He doesn't wake me up anymore. My 14-year-old cat occasionally tries to get me to feed him earlier than his typical 5:30 to 5:45 a.m. Luckily he won't wake me up before 5 and half the time I wake up that early anyway, but I will straight up walk past him and his food bowl to go to the bathroom, then go back to bed. Almost always, I'm joined by him for another half an hour or so without further complaint. He's my baby. I'm hoping as mine gets older he'll learn fully his schedule is mostly dependent on mine. Not the other way around. He's getting there, but I give him lots of leeway now because his age. I have a cat that plays fetch, very insistently. She brings me her toy mouse, and if I don't throw it for her, she sits on my laptop keyboard. Of course this all started when I would throw the mouse to keep her from sitting on my laptop. My cat does that too. He broke the feather part off his string toy and he'll drop it on my face while I sleep if he wants to play lol. My partner always goes to bed before me, and occasionally when I get in bed there's a cat toy laying by him cause the cat brought it to him after he fell asleep. It's super cute. I've been brought toys while I'm sleeping, too, but I'm a lighter sleeper than him so I wake up to the cat either rolling around on his back kicking the toy in the air or pawing at my arm or face and then staring between the toy and me. Quick edit, he brings the toy for fetch as well. Watching him play fetch is the cutest thing ever. When I come home, my dog comes to the door all excited, wagging her tail, making this woo-woo-wow-woo sound. It's not quite howling, but it's not barking either. I started to wow-woo-woo back to her, because it amused me. But now if I don't, the sound she makes will turn into barking, which is very noisy and unpleasant. So basically she's trained me to have this dumb woo-woo conversation with her, in order to keep her from yelling at me. My boy would do this too. He was a Pomeranian. That was his sweet loving playful bark. Him and my dad would have a woo-woo conversation back and forth for like 5 minutes straight before one of them got tired. We had a Schnauzer who did just that. She always went to my dad when he got home from work, and would woo-woo all over. Oddly, she would woo much longer when something unusual happened, like going to the vet or someone coming over to visit. We're pretty sure she just told him about her day or something. Our dog, who was half Sheltie, quarter collie, and quarter chow, did wow-woo-woo too, She rarely barked properly. And she'd change her volume depending on what was going on. Run towards the door when they start dry heaving. The sound of a pet or baby about to vomit needs to be an alarm. Instant wake up, yeah. Let's start a company. We could call it the 6 a.m. Alarm Company. I've shared this before, but I got my dog Snoopy when I was 10 years, and ever since he was a puppy he had this weird love for lettuce. He would go absolutely nuts for it, so whenever I had a sandwich or a burger I would give him some of my lettuce. Over the years it became a ritual that whenever I prepared any food for myself that involved lettuce, I would grab some extra lettuce for him, so I could toss it to him as I ate. He passed away 5 years ago after nearly 17 years together, but I still find myself grabbing that bit of extra lettuce for him. It's kind of funny that his little quirk has still stuck with me for all these years, and I honestly never want it to go away, because it's a little way for me to remember him. That's so sweet. My dog does the same for ice cubes. She can hear the ice tray from anywhere, including the backyard, and comes running. I give her some, of course, because I'm not a monster. This is lovely. My dog Vernon had something very similar. He loved the little and piece of bananas. So every morning when I ate my banana I would pinch him a big piece and say, "Does Mr. Vernon always get a piece of banana?" Yes, he does. Even though he's been gone a few years now, I always pinch him a big piece of banana. This is lovely. My dog Vernon had something very similar. He loved the little and piece of bananas. So every morning when I ate my banana I would pinch him a big piece and say, "Does Mr. Vernon always get a piece of banana?" Yes, he does. Even though he's been gone a few years now, I always pinch him a big piece of banana. First thing in the morning she has to smell my breath. She's like a little hairy gremlin magnet coming to inspect. Not sure who she reports to, but I don't resist. Our cat Sparky used to do this whenever we've been out somewhere, for example, grocery shopping. Soon as we entered the house Sparky would jump up on the back of the kitchen chair and reach out with his paw. He eventually trained us to walk over to the chair and pick him up whenever we came back from however brief a trip so that he could sniff all around our mouth. Only after he'd thoroughly investigated could we take our coats off or start putting groceries away. When my cat wanted to get in the house, she climbed on the roof, got inside through a small crack and made a poof sound as she fell on the floor from the roof. Then she usually started meowing so that I can open the door and let her in. I once heard a poof sound like that even though I moved into an apartment, and I instantly went to open the front door. Frown. My cat is my breakfast buddy and she always used to try to steal my cereal. She's sneaky and lightning quick, so if I look away for even a second gets into it. For anyone who may not know, you're not supposed to give adult cats dairy because most of them are lactose intolerant. But Tisha has succeeded enough times in stealing my cereal and licking my bowl that I know she can handle her dairy, and she gets a tiny cup of milk every day. She's also very skinny and it helps maintain her weight. If she hasn't had her milk for the day she'll follow me into the kitchen and look up at me with her big green eyes and beep at me with her sweet little voice, and you bet your ass she gets her milk as fast as possible. Adding to this, my brother brought home a German Shepherd when I was a teenager. He wasn't allowed in my room because he smelled like a dog. Yes, I'm talking about both my brother and the dog. Every morning after she eats her breakfast, she has to go on a car ride. She will cry and howl by the door until I have fulfilled her wish of her morning car ride. Some mornings she poops after breakfast and then proceeds to take her stance at the car waiting on me like I'm some shit boyfriend who doesn't open the car door for her. I lost my best friend Moby a couple months ago. He was 14. He had a heart condition toward the end and one of the symptoms was coughing fits after drinking water. They were awful and had even caused him to pass out a handful of times. I've recently rescued a young, healthy dog, but whenever I heard him drinking water a surge of sudden panic comes over me and I brace for something bad to happen. I miss you, Mo. go to the washroom at 6 a.m. so he can enter my room and watch the sunrise on my windowsill. Then cry for his breakfast precisely at 8 a.m. There are lots of windows in the house, but he is so needy to see me in the morning. He used to cry at 6 a.m. to wake me, but now it's just a habit for me to get up lol. Our dog turned me into a walking dog treat dispenser. I've been conditioned so that on walks she just gently tapes my hand with her muzzle and I give her a treat. Most times I give her the treat subconsciously, other times when my thoughts are drifting less I make her do SDH for the treat or simply won't give it at all. Often I realize I've been feeding her subconsciously for a longer period when the treats run out of the treat pouch.